You are sitting in your car, in the supermarket parking lot. The engine is off. Your hand rests lightly on the steering wheel. Keys in your fingers. The door is right there. You have done this thousands of times. And yet, you do not open it. For just a second longer than expected, you stay still. And somewhere in that quiet moment, a subtle thought appears. Why did that take a second? Not confusion. Not resistance. Just a small delay. And then, gently, you move. The door opens. Life continues. But something about that moment lingers. Later, at home, it happens again. You are sitting at the kitchen table. Coffee warm. A few simple tasks in front of you. Nothing complicated. Nothing new. And yet, the same pause. Your hands do not move right away. Not because you do not know what to do, but because you do not start immediately. And then, maybe later still, on your computer, you open your laptop. The screen lights up, familiar and easy. You are about to type something simple. But your fingers hover, just for a moment. And this time, the thought feels a little clearer. I used to start things instantly, so why not now? If you have noticed this, you are not alone. And more importantly, this moment may not mean what you think it means. Because what you are experiencing is not about losing ability. It is about something far more subtle. What if this is not hesitation, but calibration? When we are younger, the brain operates like an open gate. A signal comes in, an action goes out. Fast, immediate, reactive. There is very little space between intention and movement. And over time, we learn to associate that speed with capability. If we act quickly, we feel sharp. If we pause, we feel unsure. But as the brain matures, something remarkable happens. That open gate does not disappear. It becomes selective. It no longer swings open for every signal. It pauses. It evaluates. And then, it opens. That small delay you feel? It is not a breakdown. You are not slower to act. You are just no longer reacting to everything. Let us bring in the science, briefly and clearly. Research in cognitive aging, including work from institutions like Harvard and the National Institute on Aging, shows that as we grow older, the brain reduces impulsive neural firing and strengthens what is called top-down control. In simple terms, your brain becomes less reactive and more selective. Instead of responding to everything instantly, it begins to filter before it acts. At the same time, your nervous system shifts. It becomes more sensitive to energy use and stress. Quick, reactive engagement, especially under pressure, can trigger spikes in stress hormones like cortisol. And over time, your body learns something important. Not every action needs to start at full speed. So instead of launching immediately, your system asks quiet questions. Is this necessary right now? How much energy does this require? Can we begin in a steadier way? That moment of questioning. That is the pause. Not because you are incapable, but because your brain is protecting what matters. So let us go back to that moment in the car. You were not stuck. You were settling into the next action. At the computer, your fingers did not freeze. They were organizing, selecting, preparing. And that distinction matters more than it seems. Because it changes how you see yourself. You are no longer built for constant reaction. You are built for intentional engagement. But here is where the tension often comes from. You are still measuring yourself against a younger version of you. The version who could juggle 5 things at once. Start instantly. Move quickly from one task to another. And yes, that version had speed. But it also had noise, distraction, fragmented attention, energy spent in too many directions at once. Now, something has changed. You may take a few seconds longer to begin. But when you do, you are more present, more steady, more consistent. You are not jumping in and out of tasks as much. You are entering and staying. That is not a loss. That is refinement. It is the difference between a flickering light and a steady flame. So how do you work with this shift instead of fighting it? First, recognize the pause for what it is. Not hesitation, not decline, but preparation. You might even say to yourself, "This is me getting ready to engage." Second, focus only on the first step, not the entire task, just the doorway. Open the bill. Type the first sentence. Step out of the car. When the brain sees a clear, manageable entry point, it moves more easily. And third, reduce unnecessary urgency. Not everything requires immediate action. When you release that pressure, your nervous system stays calmer, and starting becomes smoother. These are simple adjustments, but they align with how your brain works now. And underneath all of this, there is a deeper truth emerging. You are no longer living in a phase where speed defines your value. You are living in a phase where attention is chosen, where energy is directed, where not everything deserves an immediate yes. And that changes everything. Because that pause you feel, it is not empty. It is full of quiet decision-making. It is your mind asking, where do I want to place my energy next? And that question, that takes a moment. So the next time you are sitting in your car, hand on the wheel, keys ready, and you feel that familiar pause, do not rush it away. Let it be what it is. A breath, a check-in, a moment of alignment. Because when you do step out, you are not reacting to the day. You are entering it with clarity, with intention, with a quieter kind of strength. You are not losing speed. You are refining your yes. And that changes the rhythm of your life. So maybe the question is not, why am I slower to start? Maybe it is, what is my mind protecting before I begin? And in that question, there is something deeply reassuring. You are not falling behind. You are filtering forward. And that is not a step back. That is a different kind of forward. And it begins in that quiet pause,